Hello, this is Kevin with Banggood Inc. And in this session, we're going to take a look at pivot tables. So a pivot table is a little bit different than most reports because most reports that we've showed up to this point, we basically put data in and it groups kind of top to bottom, showing whatever columns left to right. In this case, a pivot table allows me to have different columns going across the top. That's compared against different columns going down the left-hand side. So in this example, I want to compare C jobs and what the different vendors have billed against the jobs so I can look at the total dollars kind of left to right to see this vendor on this job was this much, on a different job it was a little different dollar, and kind of see how things like I've got similar jobs that I want to see how the dollars have varied from one job to the other. Now, keep in mind, this can be done on a wide spectrum of things. Maybe I want to look at the total dollars that different customers have invoiced through a particular 1 year versus another to see a trend of, how much customer retention we're keeping and how much dollars they're working with us on. Or maybe I want to look at jobs by cost codes and see what different cost codes have ran on different jobs across a project and so forth. So multiple things that pivot tables come into play of just trying to compare more than one field together in that kind of a double table relationship, or it could be many. Also beyond double. So let's get started. I'm in my interactive custom report writer already. I'm going to hit add here. I'm still going to use the AP bills that we've been using up to this point. I'm still going to put 0 at the beginning of it, and I'm going to say vendors by job comparison. And let's say create a report. So it's basically started off with a blank report up here at the top where we inserted a table in our last session. And this time we're going to go down to pivot table. And I'm going to just start picking some fields so it'll get me started. So we know we're going to need job. I'm going to say job name and vendor name. Vendor name. And let's also go back up to our dimensions or our measures, and let's get the invoice amount. Now, table, the report when you build a new report defaults a table. Down below it, I'll notice that down here is where my pivot table is at the moment. So I'm actually going to go back up to this first table and just hit the X to get rid of it, because all I really want to focus on in this example is the pivot table itself. So when I get started, all I'm doing is picking all the different fields that I may want, and then you can come back and add them afterwards, but in this case, I just went through and picked pretty much what I'm going to look at, because I'm going to look at different jobs by the different vendors and their total dollars. When I go to the pencil here, this one will look a little bit different. Because down here, it'll show me what are my rows and what are my columns and what are my measurements or my totals going to be. So I'm going to go ahead and keep, I don't know, let's say I'm going to put jobs going across the top and my vendors down the left-hand side. So that way you can see going across the top here is my jobs, going down the left-hand side is my vendors. So now what that's telling me is there is my invoice amount for this vendor across these multiple jobs. So I'm going to say done there. I want to put a prompt on this for where I can select what jobs I want to see. So I'm going to say that I want a prompt for my job name where it's got to be equal to something in my list. That looks good for now. So let's just preview that and see what this looks like. What jobs do I want? So these are basically like a subdivision of different lots that were built. So they're basically very similar projects. I'm going to go ahead and pick all of them that I want to compare those particular projects against each other. So now I can see there were those 4 jobs and basically what the different cost has been associated with each different vendor across those jobs. So maybe I could go back and take a look and see, oh, why didn't we have any installation costs associated with this lot 13? Or I don't know, why is lot 8 so much more money than lot 15 was, and things of that nature. So it's just a neat way of analyzing data, a little bit different than a report, because I can actually, for those that do a lot of pivot tables in Excel, it's the exact same concept where you're just basically saying, here's what our columns are going to be, here's what our rows are going to be, and then here's some sort of a money amount that it can add up. And then it could have multiple ones up here. So if I wanted to look at it by year, or look at it by, again, I said kind of earlier, maybe I would look at it by job, maybe we would look at it by cost codes down here, or maybe I want different months that the cost is hit, different things of that nature. So that's kind of a little bit about what pivot tables allow you to do, is a little bit different of a concept of a report. Thanks for watching.